Five, four, three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. It's the Romello Marcellus Show. The fly uncle you always wish you had. Bring him out. Here to give you every aspect of game from a real player's perspective. It's the biggest boss from business, entertainment, love, and life.
Had to find my inner power.
To fashion, etiquette, and current events. Major show alert. All to enhance the happiness already inside you.
Today is about the power of you.
Check it out.
You're now rocking with the best.
Here I am, God damn it. Here I am. Welcome to the Romello Marcellus Show. I am he and he is me. It is, it's Wednesday. Time is flying. Tomorrow's Thursday, all day long, I guess. It's one of those times, man, when we look at stuff and say, hey, made it through another day. Thank you. Yeah. I ain't got no news for y'all. I ain't got no entertainment. I'm sitting on these topics, man, because it's real world stuff. And no, I'm drinking water tonight, y'all. We going sober. I'm drinking water. Yeah. Topics, man, that's gonna move jokers, man. Everybody got something to say about it, especially those that are not in relationships. Those are the ones with the most conversation. Now, last night we talked about a 10-year marriage that went south because individuals were fallible. They were cheating and that kind of thing. So, you know, we can only imagine how that worked out or how that played, you know, for that individual or those individuals, you know, and daggone shame. I hope it worked out for them. You know, hope they landed well. I mean, we know that these people 9 times out of 10 are not together anymore. But yeah. Pause for the cause and let some people join us and get in here with us. And yeah, we'll share the topic. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and put it up on Instagram so people can be shocked as they walk into the room. There you go. Yeah, I said it. I'm here to say the things that most won't. Talk about those things. Oh, we're going to get into it, man. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into this real deep. Hopefully we won't offend too many folks. I'm gonna give you the backdrop, and then we can go from there. Hang on, let me invite a few more people in, man. Let me do my thing. Reef in the water, welcome, brother. Welcome in the room. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. All right, let me give y'all the backdrop, man, so we can get into this. The backdrop is this. All right, there's two people dating, and the woman mentions that she's saving her sex or herself from having sex for a husband. And the guy's cool with that. Then he mentions that, well, they should always go Dutch for dates because he's saving his money for his wife. The woman points out that it's not cool that he not take her on dates just because she doesn't want to have sex. He mentions that's not the case. Not the case at all. And clarifies, just like sex, finances are or should be reserved for marriage. What's your position? I mean, we all understand that nothing comes free. I mean, at some point in time, I mean, I guess, you should, well, damn, people are doing it for free anyway. But when you talk about, hang on, someone jumped in already. How about we don't date at all and he goes and finds his own good thing or finds his good thing? Well, I mean, I guess that works both ways if that's the understanding. See, the difference is this: y'all can pull back on that without recognizing that any male that approaches you, at the end of the day, he wants it. He wants the cookie. He wants to make ugly faces with you at some point in time. But if that's off the table, what is there? What is the goal? What's the prize? That's usually what it is. And let's make the playing field even. It ain't like y'all out here chasing no pecker. You can choose, but you ain't chasing. You got options. So when it comes to that, the only thing that most men or males feel that we can pull back is the expenditure, the expenditures, the fiduciary aspect of things, the dates. Oh, now you're saying you can date yourself and you're perfectly fine with using dildos. You go, girl. Winter's coming. Hope you got a lot of batteries. Now, I'm speaking in a realm that I think dating should be fair. And there's those double standards where, okay, if you can't take me out because I made a decision not to do something with you, then okay, that's your choice to say, go your way and I go mine. But should it be that way? Should you just be cool enough with the fact that, okay, with this individual, I will have to pay my own way and he pay his way, or vice versa? Hell, you ain't bonding. I mean, you're basically friends. I mean, in the literal sense, you're friends. You have a friendship, and that's it. That's not allowing you any sort of intimate connection at this point in time, other than hanging out and having a meal and conversation. So, and from the brother standpoint, I can see how he might feel thrown off, because shit, 9 times out of 10, she ain't no virgin. So you mean to tell me, okay, today you roll up on this guy and the buck stops with him? I'm saving it for marriage after you done ran it up 100,000 miles with no oil change. Oh, now you have Snuggies in a duffel bag of D's. Oh, okay. More power to you. Well, a real connection that's true. A real connection transcends sex, but make the feel level. Why should someone feel like they have to expend to you something? And this is retrospectively. I can promise you, the last 5 assholes you dealt with ain't wait on you. Gave it up willingly for whatever that purpose was and that intent at that time. But you meet this guy, and he's the one that you're going to stop on now. Duck, duck, goose, huh? But he's supposed to continue to, I guess, take you out and treat you like your other folks were treating you. So he's actually entitled to less. This one. Is that what we're saying here? Is that a double standard? Is he wrong? I mean, she's not wrong for withholding herself if that's what she wants to do, but I think that the playing level should be should be even. You ask me, she for the streets. She just telling him that. Here's where I'm going with this, right? Check this out. Listen to this, y'all.
Hey, darling. Zoe, baby, how you doing? I know you show you good because you call Buddy. You don't call me when it's good. You call me when it's bad. Yeah, I know you so good. Yeah. So what's going on? How's this? This is my cousin. Your cousin? So what's going on? You say it's a emergency. You want to talk to me? Where your boyfriend at? Because remember, he said he don't want me to talk to you.
I had to leave him.
You had to leave. Why you had to leave?
He wouldn't get no job. He was just gonna let the universe bring him some money, but being broke.
Yeah, so that's what I told you. So you try to run off of Buddy. Why? Because you feel like, oh, my hair great. But I pay.
Because you be asking for too much.
I ask for too much. Yeah. I give too much. Hey, whatever I ask for, I think I deserve. No, I don't got one more. That's it right there. I seen you post with you with him. You put out on Instagram. I just got you. Going against the drugstore. I be seeing that. Why won't you pay? Because when I pay people, I feel like I'm invested forever. I like watch my investment. I was like a stock market. But.
Speaking of investment. Yeah. So. I mean, I don't go when you put me out, so I'm staying with my cousin.
Yeah, well, he ain't put you out. He ain't got no money. Y'all been out.
He been out.
Yeah, probably in the family high, mama high. He ain't have it. Now cousin high, now you're stuck here. And you need something. You need some money to get you a place. That's what you need?
Yeah.
You hold you on the bottom. You know, you gold on top, but your bronze at the bottom. You ain't got nothing. What you need?
Ain't got nothing.
What you need?
Can I just get like the security deposit in the first month?
How much is the deposit?
I'm gonna say about
800. Damn, where you moving?
Nowhere. This be safe, right?
It's Atlanta. They ain't safe. You got plenty. You see, I got plenty. They get somewhere nice. I ain't finna pop up there. You get somewhere more nice than that. 800. You going?
SWATs.
No, I'm gonna still give you the 8 because y'all make sure that because if I won't be able to come out there, you might as well stay there. So yeah, you find somewhere else. I'm gonna give you 8.
But I need the first month rent too.
Yeah. So what that is? That's 16. Yeah, buddy. This other people. That's it. 8. Get 8. When you talk to people, I come and be the first. You know, show you the place. So that way I can see the address. That's right. Because I know what you're gonna do. You want the ad, but you don't want the dress. Slide down. Yeah, call me. I got you, baby. I got you. You ain't gonna give me no hug or nothing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what I do. Try to get my money run off, but the universe bring you back. You need better. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Where your cousin? She home?
No, she ain't home. She not home.
She not home. Oh, so I was trying to. Yeah. What you think?
But she on the way home.
She on the way home?
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying. Well, you sure she on the way home? I was trying. Oh, my bad. Buddy, crazy. Is she? Yeah. Well, anyway. I'm trying trying to see if I can go in there.
I'm gonna call you later.
You gonna call me later?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm gonna call you
You
later.
sure, girl? You crazy? You gonna call me later? You gonna call me now? Which one you gonna do? Which one?
Come on.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Come on. You try to run around, I'm gonna die like a fire.
Is that what we doing? Or is that what we doing? Somebody said, oh, she jumped in there first. They should be on the same page about what they want in the beginning. She has to find someone who's willing to wait for her, and he has to find someone who isn't about waiting for marriage. Well, I mean, I think they probably had that conversation, but then there was probably a change up in the midst of that. That's usually how it go. She wasn't feeling dude, wanted to throw him in the friend zone and get her Tuesday or Thursday night rotation going with the dude. But man, honestly, man, a lot of us out here sick of the double standards that are being put in place just like that. And even last night, I mean, you got to think about it. Nevaeh Mammy, she had 30 days to get out. The broad last night, she took an extra, 4 years to leave. She came up. People ain't playing fair. People are not playing fair. And, I saw Nevaeh and her mama down there on New York Avenue. They were going to Dunkin' Donuts, getting some coffee and a donut in the morning. Don't worry about where the hell I was going. I saw, damn it. Yeah, look, I can't play no games with it. If you ain't putting out, goddamn it, I can't. You can't expect nothing to come in. It's just that. No venture, no gain. You're not putting nothing out. How can you expect something to come in? That's just the brass tacks of it all. Think about it. Okay. Every time you go out to eat, right, or you meet somebody, you got to take them out to some ass. That would get tired real quick. Because the difference in valuation. You place value on that, or we're supposed to have value on that because that's a prize. I guess the gateway or the possession of your intimate being or your state or your everything. But when we look at the facts on it, how many owners has it had? How many miles? What are the service records looking like? How many checkups did it have? How many oil changes? How many infusions, suppositories and all of that good shit did it have? Yeah. What did it spit out? Did it birth anything? Sometimes you find those ones that are backfiring. But yet and still, you want a brother to pay. Date you, court you. What's the real valuation of it? Yeah. And I ain't gonna get too vile about it. We all got whole facts. But don't change your game up when you already been for the streets. Just continue to be for the streets. Accept that. Lay it on the table. Let it be your truth. Let your truth shine through. Let your truth shine through. This is what's not happening. If you're just joining, man, the topic of the show tonight is cash, gas, or ass. No one eats or rides free. Talking about a couple, man, who got together and they began to date, and I guess, after some conversation, the woman mentions that she's saving sex for her husband, and the guy's cool with that. And then he mentions that they should always go Dutch on their dates. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, I honestly believe that if someone's going to spend or do something for you, they should do it because that's what they really want to do. But don't put them in a position where they're feeling like they're being treated less than anyone else before them. And that's usually the way it is in relationships. You think about it. Okay. You meet a guy and or you've had some reference to who his person was, and how he is accustomed to treating someone else, and he gives you less. Would you accept the less, or would you be offended that you're receiving less than the one before you, the one that was lesser than you, that didn't qualify enough to be where you are right now, or be with this person, or be in this person's shoes, i.e. dating or courting, or whatever you want to call it, most times it's not fair. And we have to play better. We have to play better. We have to play fair. We can't get it in our heads and say, okay, well, I'm not going to do X, Y, Z today. And I think that in itself should be within that first or second conversation that you have. Completely offended. Why are you offended? Offended by what? Or you would be offended by receiving the less. Okay. I mean, I would be too, but that happens a lot. You have people out here, and look at it like this. Females, you are guilty of this. You can have a bum ass dude and you do everything for him. Help him out and do all these things. And that would be your one. But then you'll find someone who can actually meet you more than halfway, or halfway, whatever it is, meaning that he can supply the basic needs. We're not talking about high and low value jokers. We're talking about somebody who actually can get up, get a job, hustle, whatever they're doing, and bring it home, But because of that one individual or that situation, you won't give that guy half of what you gave the bum who wasn't deserving of it. And that's bad. That happens with you guys more so than it does us, because we'll still give regardless. If we choose you, you chose. We as men, we're gonna rock with you. But it's different with you guys. If y'all been wounded, man, it's gonna take some reprogramming. It's gonna take a whole lot to even get to the point where you're seeing a third of what you offered an individual that hurt you. Now, we're talking about fair play. We ain't talking about no Dutch dates. We're talking about everything else, even the interpersonal you, where the things you're not willing to give because you're too busy wanting to observe and wait for the other shoe to drop. Here's what I see in this broad. And just this conversation alone, she's for the streets, but she's trying to change it up and make it something that she ain't. You saving it for marriage? Pull yourself off the scene. Have that conversation. Get you somebody who's doing the same. He's saving it for marriage too. And don't be a burden. Don't think that you're entitled to something that you aren't. If he feels he want to take you out, hey, that's just what it is. My friend and I, we want to go out. I'll take you out. But to make it an obligation to date you, to quote unquote establish a intimate kinship, or friendship, because that's basically what it is. I don't know. I don't know many guys out here that would even, go for that unless they were on that same path, because just like you, there are options for us too. So I feel for them, because that's not going to work. I guess she's going to opt out if he doesn't pay for the dates or take her out on dates. I mean, honestly, where do you guys get off with that anyway? I mean, it goes back, like I said, even to the guy who decided to buy the young lady a hamburger. I think it was some chips and a soda, just to have a conversation. And that wasn't enough. She sought to air him out and say that he was broke. Well, I'll say it again. If you're waiting for somebody to buy your dinner, then damn it, you broke. And that's facts. And it should never be a position or a point where you have to air somebody out on mere assumption. You don't know what that person has or what they're built like. But the fact that he or she took the time out of their day to want to see you and spend some time with you and talk to you says something about what they thought they were going to encounter. Yeah. Let me ask you guys a question, right? Ladies, chime in if I'm wrong. I asked the same question last night. What can she give this man that she has not already given to another man? And we're speaking in this day and age, so we know damn well a virgin's like a unicorn. I've never seen one. Dude said to me, we're having a conversation. One of my buddies said to me, "Hey, he said that I don't know. This might be kind of crass, but he said honestly, a woman's box is different than it was better back in the day than it is now. Because although you might have 5 guys or 6 guys out there talking about it, only one might have hit. The rest is just supporting their homie." People, we have no discretion. We just out here doing whatever makes us feel good. And running foul to folks and not playing fair because we think that we're entitled to things like this chick. She thinks she's entitled to dates. But this gentleman's not on the same quest that she's on. And I guess that's a prerequisite for her to date. She's not willing to pay her own way to be out with this guy. You think about it. Average guy is really dating. Really dating. He's spending on average between $80 and $150 just on some fly-by-night dates. That's some appetizers and drinks or something like that. Anything more than that, we're talking about in better of between $125 to $150, maybe $200, depending on where they go. And let's say he goes out 5 nights a week. He's spending some bread on dates and still having to pay his living situation and whatever else. So who knows what his wage is. But on the flip side, shit, the average female nowadays, she can go out on the town with that same cost for $3.99, just on the under the auspices that somebody might be able to get next to her. Is that fair? Is that how we really playing? Because this is what I see in this situation. So yeah, shame on them. and I still have not got free 99. Oh, well, I still haven't gotten an answer to the question that I asked, and I'm gonna ask it again. I'm probably gonna ask it every night for the next 2 weeks till someone gives me an answer. Ladies, what can you give your good man that you have not given to any other man? What can you give your good man, or excuse me, your good man that you have not given to any other man? Even with this broad, she on some, oh, I want to wait till I get married after she done been burnt her up probably. Now she wants to get sanctified. You on there? You on there?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, so just to add in, I just had a couple of questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that they both are looking to get married.
Okay.
And he's interested in courting her. Is it still fair at that point if they're both focused on the same goal? And I'm not saying that he should pay for all of the dates or necessarily they should go Dutch either. But should he not date her? If that is the common goal, especially if she's upfront about not, and maybe she is a virgin. What does it change if she's a complete virgin? Not a complete virgin because you can't be anything other than a virgin. But if she was a virgin, does that change, I guess, her value?
If she was a virgin, okay, she's that unicorn. Boom.
She's that unicorn.
And how do we know that she's that unicorn? Just because she said it, or maybe they grew up together. So let's say they did have that conversation. It is what it is. I'm gonna be honest with you. In this day and age, any man that ran into a unicorn like that would be more than willing to date her and wait for her, because what he sees in her is purity. And at the end of the day, or whatever this weight is, he knows he's not attaching himself to any indirect spirits, any lingering spirits. He got a shot. He's got a shot at some real happiness.
Okay.
Now, if she was for the streets, or she was out there, or had a life before, children, whatever, and she want to wait till she get married, then that's a whole nother conversation, because now you telling me that I got to wait for you and you didn't gave it all away to the world already. I'm privy to how you've mismanaged your cock out here. And now you want to dial it back, and the buck got to stop here.
I get that. If she is changing the game because she's now interested in getting married, then okay, I can see to that. But I mean, I think if she is a virgin, she never been touched before, then sure, why not court that woman? But I understand your perspective.
Okay, so let me say this then. Okay, even in the midst of this, right? So is the guy supposed to wait for her? Is he supposed to put his needs on hold because she's waiting while they're dating? Or should he still be getting serviced while they're waiting to get to the altar? How's that work?
I mean, I think that if what he is truly seeking is marriage, and he is interested enough in her to go down this road with her as they're getting to know each other, if they are serious enough where they say, okay, we locked in, this looks like it's promising, I don't believe that he should be. I mean, but he should not be able to go get service elsewhere. But if that is something that he's not willing to hold out for until he knows for certain, I'm about to get on this knee and we about to start planning this wedding or whatever, and I got to go get my needs met. If he puts that out there, you know, as long as it's not a secret, and she has to agree to that. You know, don't be out here busting down because you got needs, but I'm thinking that, you know, we're on this walk together.
Oh, if they had that conversation, and I think that, yeah, you should honor that, but most people don't have that kind of conversation. The majority of us move where our actions are implied by the denying of an advance. And then when it becomes a problem, now you receive the answer / excuse as to why not. And usually in this day and age, there's always something else to that too. It's just how people move. So many people want honesty, but they're not willing to be honest.
Ain't that the truth?
So,
I mean, but I also believe these are conversations that you should have. Like, some of the first conversations you should have with a person is letting them know where you're at and where you see your life. And if what they want and where they see their life doesn't align with what it is that you want, y'all just wasting time.
right. So, I mean, even with this,
I know that, if I tell a guy that, look, I'm looking to be married, I'm looking for a serious relationship, I'm looking to lock in with someone, and his response is, well, I'm just going to go with the flow. If it gets to that, it gets to that. That's not a definitive answer. That doesn't tell me that you have some sort of focus or some sort of sight of where you want to see yourself in the next 1 to 3 years.
Right.
So if we're not on the same track, we might as well go ahead and get on our own trains and go our separate ways. There's no need to waste time. There's no lost feelings. We're grown. We don't have time to waste. We either doing something or we're not doing it.
Well, most people are not doing it. They're wasting time. Like these people here, you got to understand. Look at the conversation. They're dating. They stated they were dating. So there's more than one date they've been on. So, usually this, like I said, this should be a conversation you have when you first engage one another. Hey, look, my name is Artie. I'm a Capricorn. I'm praising the Lord and I'm waiting for a wife. Right now I'm on a sabbatical and I'm saving my coins for my wife when I meet her. So I have nothing else for you. We can get some McDonald's because I'm not trying to expend a whole lot. I can't do the Ruth Chris thing or whatever it is you want to eat. And I'm just throwing a place out there that's kind of a medium, mildly non-expensive place to go. But yeah, you got to pay your way. I'll pay mine because I got to pay my wife's way when I get her. So are you with it or nah? And if she says, well, I ain't sitting on nothing and I ain't touching on nothing, and yeah, I can pay my way to keep my mind clear and yours, and okay, you got a thing. But if she's saying, well, no, you need to be taking me on dates, you need to be parting ways at that point in time. But they have been on dates, so that wasn't a conversation they had.
Date always implies some type of, I get it, your time is your money, but it doesn't necessarily
No. See, there's a difference. When a man spends money on a woman, there's intent. A man gets in his car and drives, just like you. If a woman gets in her car and drives to go see a man, there's intent. If she goes back, if she goes once, cool. But if she goes back, she wanted to be there and she wants to be there. But there's expenditures going on, expenditures of time and resource. Men don't expend anything if they don't have no intention, whatever that intention is, whether it's to hump or marry.
No, I'm not. Look, I agree with you. I think the issue is not enough people are willing to be. First of all, I think a lot of people just don't like being by themselves.
I get that.
We have an issue with we're not even happy with ourselves, so we're looking for that happiness outside of ourselves.
Exactly.
We need a mate to bring that happiness into us. So I think that's the first issue. The second issue is, if we do find someone who's interested in us, we are afraid to lose that person if we're not on the same page.
Right.
When in reality, if marriage is what you're looking for and the person that you've been sitting next to for a year, 2 years, we waste so much time with people who just don't have good or the same intentions. They are not on the same track that we say that we want to be on, and we accept things that we shouldn't even be expending our time with.
Right.
But if my focus is marriage and I'm with someone who say, it'll happen when it happens. Yeah, I want to marry you, but this ain't right, that ain't right. A person who is focused on wanting to get married has already put certain things in place. So when they find that person, they're ready to go. Like, okay, this is the person, we're locking in. I see this going somewhere. Our chemistry is crazy. We are connected. It's not that my life is terrible without you, but my life is so much better with you. And so you become an asset to that person. We're building something together. We're more than just lovers. We're actually friends. We have that real soul connection.
Mm-hmm.
Once you find that, I don't think there's much that can stand in the way of wanting to pursue that if that's what you have in mind. There are a lot of people who are cool with just being friends with benefits, and you get all the benefits of a relationship, and sometimes it's not even a real relationship. It's just like, I'm only going to have sex with you. I'm only going to, take you on dates, but that is the cap. We will never exceed past just friends with benefits. You'll never be my girlfriend. You'll never be my boyfriend or husband or whatever that is. I'm just cool with you because I don't want to be out here. This is a safe enough situation that it's not jeopardizing anything in my life.
Right.
So yeah, we first need to figure out why we can't be alone and happy.
Well, all I can say is this. Start by playing fair, loving yourself, because can't nobody teach you how to love you but you. Can't nobody make you happy but you. We're merely here to enhance the happiness, as my show says, that's already inside you. Yeah. So if you ain't happy, you can't expect much. Most people are out here, they're looking to crash into folks to help them medicate what they really feel about themselves, which is, a bad thing. So, yeah, pray for those folks. Stay out of their way. Those are the crash dummies when you go to the zoo. Don't feed them. If you're just joining the show, man, the topic tonight is cash, gas, and you know the rest. Talking about couples, man, or a couple who was dating for, I guess, a period of time, and the young lady stated that she was waiting for marriage to have sex, and the gentleman stated, "Hey, well, I'm saving my money, so I think we should always go Dutch on our dates because I'm saving my money for my wife when I get married." And both of them have plausible, actual good reasons, but they're just not at this point in time applicable to each other. They're not gelling. And the young lady thinks it's a problem that he doesn't take her on dates and she has to pay her own way. But yeah.
I have a question for you.
I'm listening.
I heard the question that you posed quite a bit, where it's like, I think you said, as a woman, what do you have to give to a man? Was that your question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my question to you is, given that question pops up a lot on a bunch of different platforms, at this point, 2021, if you were to get married, what would be the purpose of that marriage to you as a man?
Honestly, for me, I mean, or you want my opinion, or you're asking me the question?
No, I mean, I can answer the question before you answer it. If you want me to do that.
Okay, well, here's my opinion of what a man would desire in that situation. Okay. Most men are looking for someone he can trust his social security number with, meaning gonna have his back. Not so much to stand out in front and lead him anywhere, meet him where he is, and accept him for who he is. What I see a lot now, because of the world we live in, and we have so many things that are traveling so fast through images and the things we hear, and this is with females, and I can only go with what I see. It's hard for a man that is real world, meaning he can make the provision, but he's not your fantasy guy. You know what I'm saying? You have to, how do I say it? You have to be willing to first a man wants to know that he is the one. Period. There's nothing else that is him. And I'm sure that the woman wants to know that she's number one too. But it's kind of it's a must situation when you're dealing with a man, because most of us have moved around in circles where we've been constantly taught that women are deceitful by nature, period. So it's close to dispelling that feeling or that thought with a woman is what a man is looking for in his woman, starting there. Transparency. You got to be willing, and most men, if they ask the question, they can really handle what's coming with it. Their processes may be different to it, but they want to know. They need to know who they have to be for you. And if they can't be it, then they got to move out of the way. Someone who's compassionate, who's understanding, someone who loves God, or who has a spiritual connection to the Creator, who's grounded, who is kind to others, not selfish, selfless, someone who can communicate, not constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. If we don't know, we don't know. If you don't express how you feel or the things that you need and desire, how can they be accomplished? Someone who genuinely is going to be willing to play their part. I can give you an example, man. There's been times in my past that I've been out on dates where, let's say something's gone awry, and the sister jump out at the person before I even have a word to, or before I can say something or get, utter it out. And it's like, damn, I mean, if you're going to wear the pants, I got to go, because I don't deal with dudes. So you got to be one or the other. Be a lady at all times. Don't need you to fight no battles for me. For us. I got us. I'm going to provide, keep, protect. I need someone who understands that a man, when he's building something, he's not going to always confess. Matter of fact, let me back this up. A black man is not going to always confess or profess what he's working on to a black woman. In the day and age we live in, you guys can be so harsh in your thought processes, because you usually turn it around and make things about you, when in all actuality it isn't. Because you say you want a good man, or somebody who's going to do the things you need him to do. He's got to apply himself. And if you're in the way of it by dashing his dreams and, nagging him, and, you're not supportive, you're not there, meaning you actually have to become an intern to an individual's dreams if they're pursuing something, or even with work. Let's say he's a construction worker. Shit. There's nothing wrong with him having a hot thermos to go out the door to get up on the scaffold in the winter. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. Now, he's up early, so he can make sure you got a breakfast sandwich to go out the door. Those are the things that has to happen. I mean, it's got to be grassroots. You got to get out. What we need is someone that's not going to be in the forward, but be in the now. looking at what's before you. What does this individual really bring to you? You know, what is his persona? How do you perceive him? What do you feel about him? Is he a hard worker? Is he, you know, about his word? Is his word his bond? Is he a person of integrity? Has he been forthcoming with you about what he wanted from you? You know, is he willing to date you or court you? And are you willing to recognize his efforts? Most females don't. You know why? Because you've been in positions where you've been able to receive those efforts under whatever guise they came. And you might receive something, give, oh, that's nice. Or someone takes you somewhere, oh, that was nice. Why? Because 9 times out of 10, shit, you've been there 5 times before with 5 other guys. So when we talk about those things, there are times when we need to have our backs padded. You know, those are that goes back to the understanding and the compassion that, damn, you know, maybe he has been dealing with a lot of females bullshit. Let me show him something different. And that goes both ways. But we already know it as men that you've been dealing with a lot of stuff, that you have sacrificed yourself to a lot of others or others. But you can't come to the door, you know, already in that mode too. It's not going to work because the only person that's going to be receiving is you. Anything that's quote unquote new. And when I say that, 9 times out of 10, it's going to come out of a store or a restaurant or some adventure or some dwelling or something. It's going to be a thing that's going to be new. But what do we receive? We usually receive something that's already been touched and handled and used. And that's usually attached to an attitude at the end of the day. So I hope I've answered some of your questions. That's just my opinion.
I mean, I understand that, and I guess, you know, we are just different men and women. I believe that men value sex more than women do in a relationship. Like, sex is, if not number 2, it's number 1 on the list of things that you all need to feel like you're still connected to your significant other. For women, it's typically the security, the connection, you know, are we being heard, the communication that comes, and then sex is just not at the top, because I think it takes all of those things for us to receive, for us to even want or feel still connected sexually.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I hear you, but there are. I mean, I could grasp why you would say that. Here's how sex plays with a man. First of all, you shouldn't be having it anyway, or none of us should be having it until we find the one that we decide we want to wed. But in the case that it has happened, there's always still that it's not the frontal, but it's like the medulla oblongata, that back of the mind thing where you could lump him over the head and knock him out, where how the female governed it or managed the sexual aspect of herself coming in, that's a thought. But then we talk about the connection. The animal instinct is always going to be that. I mean, the physical aspect of the relationship. I mean, it is there. That's an attraction. I mean, either that's going to be a factor or it's not. You know, and I think if it isn't, you ain't gonna have a man anyway.
No, absolutely. I'm not saying that it's not important to a woman, but I know for me, if those other things aren't in place, my sexual desire just isn't there.
Oh, of course.
That's all I'm saying. So it's just it's lower on my list of importance, and I think it would be higher on a man's list of importance.
Right, but this is why I always say, if a woman chooses up, she chooses up. Her something's not being met.
Right.
Well,
the things that I believe a woman brings to the table, other than sex, if she is a true woman and she is connected to herself in a spiritual way, she understands that, especially a black man already has all these strikes against him. So she should definitely be compassionate. But even over that, she has to have an understanding of who he is and what the needs are that sometimes he doesn't even see in himself. Some of the things that he just may not be as strong with. Women are naturally intuitive. We have that intuition and we can see things and we can offer, other options for him. For example, maybe he's working towards one of his goals, but the way he's going about it is just, he's missing something. As long as she's saying it in a loving way, in a compassionate way, and in a way that he can understand it without him feeling attacked, she can say, well, babe, how about you try it like this? Or how about you change this one thing? Or, maybe you shouldn't approach it that way, take this angle. I think that as women, my mind goes a million miles a minute. And I try to look at all the angles of everything all the time. And I don't, men are laser focused. So you all can miss certain things. A true woman will come in and help you see all the different angles and help you, see different options and open your mind up to how she feels you're handling something that may be mismanaging what it is that you're really, what that goal actually is.
mm-hmm.
That's what a woman helps to make a house a home.
I get it.
Provide that tasteful space for him to return to, that safe space, that honesty, that trust, the ability for him to rest peacefully knowing that even when she's pissed at him, she's not going to look for her pounds of flesh off of him.
Mm-hmm.
He don't have to worry about something being in that food because she hasn't dealt with her trauma. That's what women bring to the table, other than just the sexual thing. I think it's not that she has to cover him, but, with the insight that she has, and because he has a different focus, she's able to step back and see some things that he may not, he just may not miss because that may not be his focus per se.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's some of the things that I think a woman would bring to the table other than sex.
But that still didn't answer my question about what is it that she can give to her man that she is not given to any other man. See me.
Well, let's be honest. There isn't much that anyone who has not been in a marriage, a relationship, has not been a parent, that we can give each other that is not unique to one another. The only difference the only unique thing that we can give to one another is if we are now at a point in our life that we've never been before. If we have understood ourselves enough to be able to give ourselves in a way that we've never given ourselves before, that's all anybody has to offer.
Okay.
I'm not the same person that I was at 18. I have gained some level of wisdom. So what I was given at 18 definitely is not what I'm capable of giving today.
Okay. Now, I say that to say this. Most are inhibited with their giving because of things that may have fractured their giving in their past. So is it fair to individuals? Let's say your new guy's been hurt. Is it fair to you for him to hold up on his giving because of what happened prior to, and he's watching you and just seeing what you're doing. He's not really engaging you.
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Do you think that happens a lot more now in this day and age, where most are willing to just engage or to watch you and not engage?
I mean, I think today most people are selfish. It is about what can you do or what have you done for me lately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can give to a person 6 days out of the week. The first time you tell them no, it is like you have never told them yes.
Exactly. I mean, how soon people forget your efforts that you put into relations, or your pursuit of a relationship or something meaningful with someone. You know, maybe you cook dinner, maybe you wash their clothes, maybe you know, a host of things. I mean, even just spending time and having intense conversations. There's a show, as a matter of fact, it's a show that I was watching, and it has some serious viewpoints in it, and it's like, goddamn. It's called Sex Life or some shit. It's on Netflix, where you had a woman who was for the streets. She was out there, and somehow she met this guy, and they ended up getting married, having 2 children. But what most people don't understand is when you get into relationships like that, marriage, it becomes routine, and shit is really boring. Marriage is fucking boring. Long-term relationships is boring. It's as boring as you could ever imagine. But the same thing is, you have to look at the fact that you've grown up now. You have common goals, mortgages, you know, insurance, and everyday life like that. You can't be the hot girl in the summer kind of thing, you know, or vice versa. So here, where now she's had these 2 kids and they're settling into their life, new home, the whole 9, she starts to fantasize about her body count, you know? And then one day, out of the blue, I don't know what happened, she wakes up one morning and comes down to the kitchen, and the husband got a diary. And he like, who the fuck are you? I don't know you, you know? And yeah, he commenced to bend her over the counter and treated her like she wanted to be treated. But after that, the relationship is all downhill from there. You know, she's seeking now. So this is one of those things where I've asked before on the show whether it's cool to talk about your past escapades with who you are, quote unquote, trying to be serious with. I think that those things should be discussed because those are tendencies. You are who you are. Honesty saves so much fucking time. My thing is that you could say, look, I love you, I want to be with you, but every now and again, I'm gonna want to go out here and fuck somebody else. I'm gonna want to go get fucked by somebody else, or whatever the case might be. That's a conversation that you should have, so that way all parties are aware of what could potentially happen. So when and if it happens, it is of no surprise or, you know, true consequence to whoever's there, because you chose to stay. Now, unlike this individual, now you driving around town chasing Pekka, where you have a husband at home and 2 beautiful children. You have what most would say the dream. You live in the dream with the white picket fence, the whole 9, but you got to be out here in the streets. When in all actuality, you could have told your husband before he was your husband off the rip, hey, look, this Yugo been drove, you hear me? They drove the shit out of this Yugo, and I'm gonna park it here for a while and let it rest up. I'll get the oil changed and put some new tires on it. But after some point in time, it's gonna be back on the street, and let him deal with that. But that wasn't the case. But not to get off the subject, the same thing happens when you talk about these dating. We don't know what this individual's prior life, what she was doing before him, and vice versa. And because he chose not to spend his bread on her, because hell, he don't feel like he's getting no return on his investment, that's his position. And she's entitled to hold on to her stuff or give it to whoever she's giving it to. Because honestly, in this day and age, if a female ever says some shit like that to me, I'm gonna call her a bold-faced lie and put some holy water on her and keep it moving. Yeah. And that's just the truth. I don't know, man. I think.
Okay. So,
Go ahead. I'm.
No, I was just going to piggyback on the show that you were talking about. And so for me, I do believe that not a lot of people deal with their past traumas, right?
Mhm.
So for me, listen, I think healing is an ongoing process. I don't think, learning and understanding who you are, because as we age, we change, our desires, all of that stuff change, and that's okay.
Mhm.
I think a person needs to be in tune with themselves enough to know what their triggers are. I think everyone has triggers based off of how they grew up, whether it was in a great household or not. Coming from a great household doesn't mean that you don't suffer from any type of trauma or you don't have triggers. So for me, I'm aware of some of my triggers. And what I know about the triggers, it's not even about removing them from my life, but it is about identifying them and saying, okay, when this thing happened right here, it triggers a physical response in me. So is this about the person in front of me, or is this about some past trauma that I just need to sit with it for a minute so I can, place that energy in its proper place?
Right.
And so when you go into a relationship and you haven't dealt with who you are or your past or whatever it is that allows you to be out here for the streets, and then you enter into a marriage, you haven't even faced some of the things that you've been through. You haven't identified some of the things you've been through. You haven't, mourned for some of the things that you've been through. And so it still is attached to you. It's still an issue. And yet we can suppress things for so long, but it's like, overfilling a cup and putting a top on it, just keep pouring water into it. At some point, that top is going to come off.
Exactly.
And when it does, all this shit spills over. And so a lot of people, I think, who should not be married, get married. A lot of people who are interested in marriage should be going to marriage counseling, but you should also be going to individual counseling. Anybody who has been through any type of trauma or any type of issues where they have struggled in their life, they need to go back to that event with a trained professional or, spiritual or however, and sit with that and understand what that really is so they can move past it. Because if you don't, anything that has happened to you that you haven't dealt with, a part of you is still stuck at that point.
Right.
You haven't advanced past that point, and that's why we have triggers. Because, it's triggering something from the past that feels too familiar in a painful way, and it's, causing this physical response that I'm having a hard time seeing past the person in front of me. And so because you did a certain thing, this pain ain't got nothing to do with you, but you're bringing back an old memory that is too painful for me. So we jump into relationships when, again, it goes back to what I said earlier, we're not happy enough with ourselves. Too many people can't be alone because they can't stand their own company.
Right.
They can't find happiness just, let me go hang out with me and get to know me. Let me take myself to the movies. Let me date myself and let me figure out what it is that I actually like. Let me figure out what it is that I don't like. So when someone is willing to entertain me in that way, if they aren't on the same wavelength that I'm on, I don't have to waste their time or my time. But we get involved with with people because, he's cute. He got a nice body or he got a bank account. None of that stuff is going to make you happy if you're not happy already. And I think, based off of the story that you gave of the show, that's pretty much what it was. She was who she was. We can't run from who we are, but you have to be willing to be honest enough with yourself to say, you know what, I do have triggers. I was a victim to this situation. I need to go deal with this so I can get that up off of my back. So I'm coming to whoever it is that is meant for me as light as possible. If that makes sense.
Yep.
So yeah, for the story that, that you posted, I do believe, when I read it, I said, okay, they were dating. So they had to have some type of conversation where she was like, okay, no, I'm holding myself for marriage. I don't necessarily agree with trying to get involved with someone who is not on the same page with you, and then trying to say, okay, why can't you spend on me when what you want is not something I'm willing to give at that same point.
Exactly.
You know, you gotta date where you at.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody isn't, you know, willing to give some of the things that you need to be given, hey, you know, relationships are a give and take.
Yeah.
Somebody's taking, somebody's giving. Hopefully you both are giving and taking at the same point.
No, most people out here take us. They want to take.
Absolutely.
And don't give you shit.
Absolutely. Everybody looking for a come up.
Yeah. Yep. Just like old girl yesterday.
Go ahead and get up out of here. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. If you're just joining the show, man, the topic tonight is cash, gas, or ass. Nobody eats or rides for free. Talking about people who were dating and the young lady decided, or excuse me, to utter to the guy or tell the guy she wasn't willing to have sex, or she was waiting for her husband to get married or whatever to have sex. And the gentleman decided to say, hey, well, I think we should always go out on Dutch dates because I'm saving my money for my wife when I find her. And the young lady has a problem with that, or had a problem with that, stating that she doesn't think it's cool that he's not taking her out on dates. And the gentleman stated, well, you know, he's saving his funds for his wife, and his funds should be reserved for marriage, just like her sex. So I guess the negotiations continue, and maybe they'll get to a point where there is a pass, but right now they're at an impasse. All I'm gonna say, people, is, and all you're getting, get understanding, man. Honesty saves so much goddamn time, man. Everybody wants honesty, but no one's willing to be honest. Be honest with yourself first. That way you can be honest with everybody else. Know what it is you want. Get to know yourself. Date yourself. Walk with yourself. You know, really, you know who you are so that you can figure out what it is you want. So you're not wasting time. Life's too short, man. People are going out of here. You remember, you can say, well, you know, live, see tomorrow, man. Here today, gone tomorrow. Shit, this here today, gone today. This is how it's going. And as the words say, man, we know not when the masters come. When they come tap you on your shoulder, it's time to go. Make the most of your life while you're here. Don't allow people to get you into their bullshit. Get you off your square. Waste your time here. Okay? Man. As usual, man, it's been a stone gas. And tomorrow we'll tap in. May not be nothing long and drawn out. I might just do a rant for y'all, man, and get on out the way. I know y'all trying to enjoy y'all week or get ready for the weekend. And I don't want to stand in the way. So on that note, and all y'all getting, man, get on out of here, because yeah, dinner's waiting on you and all that good stuff. Good night.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. It's the Romello Marcellus Show. The fly uncle you always wish you had.
Bring 'em out.
Here to give you every aspect of game from a real player's perspective. It's the biggest boss from business, entertainment, love, and life.
I had to find my inner power.
To fashion, etiquette, and current events. Major show alert! All to enhance the happiness already inside you.
Today is about the power of you.
Check it out.
You're now rocking with the best.